Hi, this is Brad Cleveland. Welcome to the Q&A series, Thriving in the New Era of Customer Relationships. Today's question is, we love the skills-based routing promise of getting the right contact to the right agent at the right time, but we're struggling with implementation. Do you have some guidelines that might help? Well, thanks for the question. It's a good one. Skills-based routing has been around for a couple of decades, but it's definitely getting renewed attention as contact centers expand services and add channels, social and mobile and the others. And in general, resources are becoming more diverse, the range of expertise that we need. But you have to manage it well. I remember visiting a technical support operation one afternoon, and the director looked up at a queue status board. We're standing there together, and he looks up, and I can hear him say, "Uh-oh." And we looked up, and there's a call that was stuck in queue. It was a perplexing puzzle. How did that call get there? And that customer had been waiting 20 minutes and counting, and yet agents were sitting there idle, and they were at a loss for what to do. How did that happen? How do we get them out of there? After many more agonizing minutes, the customer finally abandoned, and the IT team later discovered a programming error in the routing logic. So that can happen. Skills-based routing is intelligent, flexible, real-time. It's the perfect answer to that proverbial contact center challenge of getting the right customer to the right place at the right time, except when it doesn't work that way, right? So as with most technologies, the benefits of skills-based routing are commensurate with the clarity of the purpose for which it's to serve. What are we trying to do? And really the soundness of the underlying processes by which it's managed. Here are 5 of the most common problems that we run into out there and what you can do about them. One common problem is poor assumptions and rationale. Skills-based routing works best in environments that require many skills and have many possible combinations of skill sets. It can also help to quickly integrate new agents by initially routing only the simple calls or calls of a predefined nature to them. What it can't do is compensate for poor planning or inadequate training or poorly designed information systems. Keep it as simple as possible, and remember that skills-based routing depends on, rather than compensates for it, depends on accurate planning and good forecasts. A second problem we find is just that, inaccurate forecast, the inability to really predict what's coming, specific types of skill requirements. And that's the Achilles heel of these powerful simulation tools that are available, and of skills-based routing in general. To anticipate staffing needs, you first need to know how many Spanish or French-speaking callers you're going to get between 10 o'clock and 10:30, and how the call mix will change throughout the day for an expert group handling call types A, B, and C, and when your Mandarin Chinese-speaking agents will go on break. Accurate forecasting at this level of specificity takes some time and effort, but it's well worth it. It's essential. If you're struggling, consider combining some skills to form more manageable groups. A third problem we run into is inaccurate base staff calculations. Whatever the staffing method you use, it could be Erlang C or a variation of it or simulation, whatever method, a certain amount of trial and error, add a healthy dose of intuition to what those numbers are telling you. You'll need to run through quite a few, sometimes really dozens of what-if scenarios to get it right. A fourth common problem is rostered staff, sometimes called shrinkage for breaks, lunch, meetings, projects, all the things that pull them away. These things are particularly problematic in a skills-based routing environment where you're trying to get calls to just the right agent at just the right time. There's no substitute for realistically planning and budgeting for the things that keep agents from the phones. Finally, most run into problems when there's no routing manager or coordinator. And if all of this sounds a little bit time-consuming, that's because it can be. I mean, even in relatively small contact centers, many have learned through the school of hard knocks that you've got to have someone take the time to go through this planning, go through these scenarios, and really get the programming and the planning and the assumptions right. Updating system programming, adjusting staffing plans and schedules, accommodating evolving circumstances. These are ongoing activities. If there's one lesson that towers above all others in this discussion, it's this: skills-based routing is no substitute for good planning. To the contrary, good results depend on good planning. They depend on accurate forecasts and staffing calculations and realistic assumptions about staff availability and programming that's workable and clear. So focus on those, what are common problems areas out there, and you can avoid them. And you can really ensure that skills-based routing is working for you. If you like to cook, it's a little bit like Tabasco sauce. A little bit can be terrific. Too much can overwhelm the environment. So use it judiciously and make good assumptions. Put your planning process behind it, and you're going to get good results. Thanks for the question. Keep them coming, and I will be back soon.